It's Friday at 4 o'clock, which you know what that means. It's time to exercise our freedom of information.
Freedom of information. Friday. FOIA.
I'm so glad that you're here, Crystal.
I'm glad that you're here too.
Hey, that's the nicest thing you ever said to me. You know,
I know, isn't it kind of weird? Does it feel? It felt a little inauthentic to me.
I
don't know.
take it. I need the positivity in my life,
Really,
so I'll
even if
take
it's
it.
performative, okay.
Even if it's performative from time to time. I just gave a whole diatribe about how I think that we need to start focusing on each other and boosting each other up, because we can't rely on politicians. We can't rely on clergy. We can't rely on the media. We have to rely on each other, and we have to lift each other up. I think that's what it's supposed to be.
But even performatively, though, like saying nice things
That was
just because
completely
that's what we do.
Was that just completely performative? You're not glad that I'm here at all? Jeez, okay. I was completely
Well, I don't know.
performative. Dang
It's
it.
like, I don't know. I want a little bit more. I don't know. You don't. Some things don't need to be said, and maybe I'm being not. Maybe I'm being mean as usual.
That being mean isn't the worst thing. I mean, these days there's a lot of cynicism out there, and I don't mind taking
Yeah.
it from all corners.
I just
But
find all superficial niceties to be a little cringe. What do people in the chat feel like? Like when you
the-
say when people are overly enthusiastic, it's just like
well, overly
overly
enthusiastic is a lot.
pleasantries. I'm a
Okay,
little,
it's not like I was like, Crystal,
you know.
I'm good. I'm over the moon that you're here today. No, it's like, oh, I was looking forward to talking about FOIA Friday, because I think it's a ritual that we've now established as something where we are going to at least put forth a little effort towards trying to uncover a little bit, exercise our rights, and try to uncover a little corruption in mostly our food system, but in other ways too. We're trying to uncover corruption and try to make a go of this. I think that's a good thing. I don't need to be over the moon about it, but I could be honestly and direct about, I'm happy that we're both here today.
Yeah. And then I said, I'm glad. What did I say? So I said
I'm glad you're
something
here
nice,
too.
and it caught you off guard, and then it
Yes.
deteriorated from there.
Yeah,
And that's
I don't know
how
how
it went.
people in the chat think, but I think it's okay. I mean, I guess veterinarians don't have to. If you had a good bedside manner, you might have been
Yeah.
a doctor.
Well, no, veterinarians have to have the best bedside manner if you're working with the general public. In my
Ooh.
role, purposefully do not deal with the general public because I know my skill set. My skill set is moving my hands very fast and getting a lot done. It's not make people feel good. So there you go.
Yeah, that makes sense. If you're doing 100, but you do more than 100 a week. How many spay and neuters do you do in a week?
Let's see. So let's say Monday, Tuesday, I'll do 25 each day. So that'll be dogs and cats. Usually, sometimes we do less. And then last week, how much did I work last week? Did I work 3
Well,
days in
just
a
what's
row?
an average? What's an average? How many do you do in a
So,
week? And then I want to compare that to
I
what you
would
think the average of like a normie vet does.
I would say I do 150 a week on average, probably. And a normie vet probably does 6.
Good. So yeah, all right. So like 300% or something. No, way more than that, like
Yeah,
500%. Something like that.
I don't do math. I don't do math. I don't do people. I do surgery.
You do
I'm the
surgery.
classic surgeon, psychopathic, whatever, just getting it done. But the good thing about women surgeons is we have much better rates of survival than male surgeons. So, and I think I have a pretty good track record of very low complications with my patients. I'm always seeing the other doctors, when things go wrong, when things get infected, but mine never do. So
That's something to like a nice little badge, a badge of honor, I suppose. Looks like White House says we've added 30 million jobs last month. I don't believe that for a second. I don't know how that's possible. 30 million jobs. I've never heard of a month of job numbers like that, but I do know that a lot of meat processing plants are losing high percentages of their workforce. A lot of the animal protein production companies are losing a lot of their workforce. So I'm not sure where you're getting that number, but I think that's fun. I haven't seen that
yeah,
yet.
I'd love to see. Put a link in the chat of what that is.
Yeah, 30 million seems a little high. That's about 10% of our country. So
Yeah.
10%, 30 million jobs. Well, today is Friday. It's 4 o'clock, and we like to go over our FOIAs. Now, mine's kind of boring. I'm just
Okay.
dividing up previous FOIAs and then making them multifarious at this point because Andrew DeCoriolis and that my favorite, I think it's one of my favorite episodes because I watch them again when I repurpose this content.
Mhm.
So watching Andrew's and listening to him talk about what he was talking to and your questions and my questions together, I thought that was such a good episode last week.
Yeah.
And yeah,
That's why
I'm
we need to
actually
have more guests on. So we
yeah,
need
and
to,
people
and
like
I've got,
him who are so well spoken and knew what
yeah.
he was talking about, well informed. It's just refreshing. I want to get that guy on more of our shows, honestly. But I just thought it was great. And because of that interview and that talk that he gave us, I guess not, it wasn't really a talk, but you know what I mean. And now I'm going through my old FOIAs and I'm breaking them up to try to reap more success. So that's my only FOIA contribution this week, actually. I've been doing it, working through it, but
Did you
it's
file any or
I
no?
save them all for Friday because that's our thing. So like I work on them through the week and I'm cutting them up. So I haven't filed any yet. And I
No.
also have not received any um correspondence from the government. But the last correspondence I got that deadline saying, do I still want to wait 36 months for that JBS stuff that I wanted to see if I can uncover corruption from about the SEC and the USDA. And the SEC wanted to wait 36 months. So I'm going to just say yes and just see if I get something later. Hopefully it'll come sooner than 36 months, It might be like how Scotty on the Enterprise is always like, I can't do it, Captain. It'll take 3 days. You've got 1 hour, Scotty.
And does
Okay, I'll
Scotty
do it.
always pull through and do it? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
like the 4-minute mile. Humans never believed that they could beat it.
That-
And now once it was broken, everybody broke it. People underperform unless they see other people pushing them to perform and do it. So all of you people in the chat who've never done a FOIA before, you can
You
do a
can. It's like
FOIA.
the
And this is
3 hour marathon. You could do it.
me
2-minute
pushing
mile.
you.
Yeah.
Do it today. Make your first one. And who knows? Your FOIA results might end up in the New York Times. So
Yeah, and we are in a time period now when I think like this is where I want to embrace AI. Like I'm very skeptical of AI because I think it's going to kill us all. But on the other hand, AI will help
I'm
you
worried
craft
about
a
it taking away our brain cells and our ability to critically think and problem solve. But that's just me.
I'm afraid of that as well. I think it's that ties. I think it's the death of humanism. It's Sanban Matsu, when he was on our show, we talked about that. John Sanban Matsu. We're both reading his book now,
Yeah.
Omnivore's
Deception.
The Omnivore's Deception. We're both reading that book right now by John Sambamatsu. If anybody wants to join the book club, go ahead and read that book with us. There's no book club. I'm just joking, but it'd be fun to read it together. But
Yeah.
we were talking about the death of humanism as kind of like what's happening with AI and all of that. I'm on board. I agree. But it is rather convenient to use AI. Here's where I embrace it, to use it to hold the power accountable. So I can go and I can have ideas. I ask ChatGPT or Gemini to craft me a FOIA. It guides me through a step-by-step process every time. It helps me out. And then I basically a lot of copying and pasting. And then the government uses AI to search their data. That's what they're doing. They're using AI to search their data.
Maybe.
And well, they have to. I mean, there's no one working in the government anymore. So so I feel like this is a good thing. This is a one good thing from AI, and I'm for it. But
Yeah.
so what happened with you this week with your
I
search
got
for-
back thousands of pages of documents from Maricopa County. This is the county where Hickmans did their depopulation.
Mhm.
And I want to start off with one interesting email I got. And this is, I don't know if you can see it, but it says from Warren Saturn, holy F, AZDHS is being cut by 1/3. So much for those 30 million new jobs that somebody was talking about. Somebody's budget is being cut by 1/3.
AZDAS, which is
That's
I'm
the
guessing
Arizona
Department of
of
Health
Health
Services.
Services.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
That makes me yeah, so holy F, says the Maricopa County person. That
Mhm.
how much, what percentage?
1/3.
1/3. Oh my god.
1/3, it says.
33%.
He is the epidemiology supervisor, the outbreak team of public health. He says, I sent to Jen, the CDC budget request isn't clear, but it looks like ELC is being cut as well as PHEP. And PHEP stands for Public Health Emergency Preparedness, public something. Emergency, yeah, something like
So
that.
like basically
ELC,
like
I
they're-
don't know what ELC is.
but it's the Arizona version of it. And this is the people that take it, that try to make sure that their communicable diseases are at bay and major disasters are handled
Yeah.
properly, right? Yeah. So
So
we're cutting that. Okay, cool.
they're cutting that. I'm gonna get more I love just the candidness of emails like that.
It's
What
nice
else
to
did
see.
I-
They're just like us, aren't they? These
Yeah.
people in government, they're just like you and me. They're writing each other
are.
emails and saying, holy F, they just cut 1/3 of the workforce that's here to save our lives. Dang it.
Here's another thing from Warren I'll add to the stage. He just sent out this email about the different outbreaks that had occurred throughout history. He's talking about foot and mouth disease. Over 6 million cattle and sheep killed to halt the
Mhm.
spread of foot and mouth disease, severe economic consequences. This is clearly like a chat GPT copy paste because it's got
Yeah,
the
because
Wikipedia links and everything.
Because I gotta say, Crystal, like this looks like something that I did research on. It looks like
No. Love to see
This
the
look-
epidemiology supervisor doing this.
Yeah, right.
And here he talks about avian influenza outbreak, citing AWI, and methods included ventilation shutdown plus heat, carbon dioxide gas, water-based phone. Love to see that. Love to see that talked about. He's talking about the Denmark mink cull, and all of
Mhm.
that. And so that was great. Just,
Well,
you
with
know,
with
seeing-
foot and mouth, I know we normally talk about ventilation shutdown being like the worst ever way to die because they lock up all the chickens and just or pigs, but mostly it's chickens, and they lock them up and turn up the heat and kill them all with heat stroke. But in foot and mouth, they dug a ditch, put all the cows or pigs into them, and just shot them with bullets. That's got to be, and then buried them. Like,
Yeah.
damn.
I think we've got better methods nowadays.
I mean,
than that they did back then.
better than that, I guess. I suppose you're right. But okay, because we're better than they were in the 50s. Cool.
Yeah. Here's another thing that I got. This is from the senior communications officer, and they just talk about trending news clips for some reason. And I guess there's like a report that a service from Critical Mention, and they provide what the value is for these news things, which I thought
we
was
used to
really
have this
interesting.
in Vegas. We had this. We had this like all of our. So in Vegas, I ran a bunch of bars, and a bunch of other managers run bars, and we ran them together basically. And we had it was called this, I think. And PETA has it too. It's called Muck Rake, but they didn't have the value on there. But this one has Muckrack, I think. But this
Yeah, I'm on Muck Rack,
you
but I
are
didn't know they had that service. But it
it's a
lists all
similar
like all my
service.
articles that
Yeah.
I've written or whatever.
This
Yeah.
one, so this one is a different one where it would be like if it mentions you, if somebody mentions you online or something, it would give you a dollar amount of the kind of the media buy would have cost.
Hmm.
Politicians use this too because like if someone mentions you or they do the same thing. Like if when I was in politics, if you got someone to put a bumper sticker on their car during an election, that was $600 worth of free advertising. I
Oh,
remember
really?
that. Yeah, I remember that really like
Wow.
that was something and then it's something there was a value applied to also the yard signs. Like if you could get someone to put a yard sign of your candidate in there, that's like I forget now. The bumper sticker I remember was $600. I remember that.
Interesting. I'm kind of interested in signing up for this. Let's see what that
It's
is.
kind
It's
of
kind of
cool,
an
right?
interesting
See, there you go.
service.
FOIA
You just
searches
learn
have driven
random
it.
stuff.
Yes, they're
Um,
increasing your effectiveness, your efficacy as an activist.
and this is $19 as estimated publicity. So yeah, I guess Maricopa County cares about their publicity that they're getting. So I thought
Well,
that
yeah,
was
the
interesting.
municipalities will have it just like MGM has it. Like MGM Grand, where I worked, they would have this, and then we would know like what people were saying and how much press we were getting, and how much that was worth every time.
Yeah.
Paul Campbell, all the way in Galway, asks, "Does FOIA Friday, Freedom of Information Act Friday, usually go live every Friday at midnight Irish time?" Yeah, it's 4 o'clock here, and it's 8 p.m. It's 4 p.m. here and 8 p.m. there. In the UK and in Ireland. Yes, FOIA Friday at 4 because Crystal and I love the alliteration.
Hmm. Yeah. And we love the Pacific time zone. I guess if it was,
Yes, I
we
guess
could
so.
do FOIA
We're
Friday at
biased.
4 Irish time, but it would, I don't know if it'd work out for us.
We would be up at a very different. Well, it'd be 8 p.m. here, right? No, it wouldn't be. It'd be like 10 p.m. here, I think.
Yeah.
And you go,
Uh,
you're an early sleeper,
yeah.
so I don't think
That
that we
wouldn't
would
work
be
for
okay with
me.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just too bad. I can't really tell which is what are positive, negative, and neutral because these shades of gray are just a little bit too close. I think that's positive. I think that's negative. I don't know. Is it negative? And then
Mm.
I just can't tell.
It's hard to tell for me because I'm looking at it very, very small on my screen, but
Yeah.
maybe if you have this service, I mean, you'll find out really quickly. You'll be able to know. Maybe you
Yeah.
do the free trial. If you do the free trial and see if it see what happens.
Yeah. I
See
will
what you
do
get.
it. This is, yeah, I can't tell who he sent this to Joel Kodiak, I think.
Okay, but
Hmm.
how did your FOIA request result in this? I guess is the question.
Because my FOIA request was on behalf of our Honor, a nonprofit organization dedicated to improving transparency around government response to infectious disease outbreaks. I am submitting this public records request under ARS, whatever section. I respectfully request copies of all records held by the Maricopa County Department of Public Health related to H5N1 avian influenza outbreak at animal facilities in Maricopa County since May 1st, 2025. This includes, but is not limited to, emails sent to or from Jennifer Collins, all these people, blah, 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 referencing Hickman, H5N1, HPAI, and or depopulation, VSD, ventilation shutdown. So these articles mention that they had in this attachment mention some of those things.
Oh, so
So
they're emailing each other about these articles,
yeah, and some of the
these
articles are
are
Hickman's
and they're
articles.
about Hickman's, and Hickman's is having a negative effect on like Maricopa County tourist board or
I
something. I'm sure.
can't tell if it's negative or positive
How
because
could Hickman's be positive? I don't know. Hickman's. What happened with Hickman's again? What's the story there? Let's see if
they
anybody in
had
the
to
chat thinks this is positive.
depopulate 8 million birds, I
Eight
guess they
million.
said now,
We
due
killed
to
8 million
avian
birds to
influenza.
prevent the spread of disease. How
And
do
we
we
gave
spin this to be
them
positive?
like more than $72 million. But Hickman's PR team, like to their credit, did a really good job at like painting the sympathetic story of like they're doing everything they can and they really care. And this is a tragedy
They don't want
and
to be
all of this
typhoid Hickman.
stuff. So I, To their
They
credit,
did.
they really
They
did a
really
good
care about the
job.
people.
They
Yeah,
they
they
spun
didn't
it.
they didn't want to be typhoid Hickmans. That's my favorite line of what they from them. We don't want to be
Yeah.
typhoid Hick. We don't want to be the ones that kill other people. Whiskey Bravo 2628 says eat a steak. Well, here you're in luck. There are steaks you can eat that don't harm animals, and I
Mhm.
think that's pretty cool. So go ahead and eat steak. Just try not to eat one that came out of an animal. Or at least promote the non-animal derived protein.
I just think everybody should have access to affordable, nutritious, delicious protein that doesn't betray their conscience, that is produced in alignment with their values. And that means produced in ways that don't harm public health, animal welfare, food security, all of these things. And I think the fact that people don't have access to that is a tragedy, and we need to redirect public funds away from antiquated methods of protein production and support more innovative methods of protein production that are more in alignment with our values.
That seems
So
like a modest
that's
proposal to me, Crystal. I think that that's, in
just
a nutshell, how everyone feels, isn't it? Doesn't everyone think that we should just have choice to eat according to our own values and have the ability to maybe not have such a negative impact on our lakes, rivers, and streams, for example, or the air quality, public health? I think that all of us would make that decision. If I could eat this and not have all of these horrible detriments, but still get all of the nutrition and flavor, then I would do that. That makes perfect sense to me. I'm
yeah.
on board. Yeah.
And I think it's a tragedy that Hickman's is getting $72+ million when how much of that money could be used to actually feed people, to give people
Hmm.
the food that they want, and maybe even spay and neuter some animals and give people the medical care that they want, like that they need. So,
I like
yeah.
this idea. I don't think that my taxes should be taken from me by force and then given to companies like Hickman, who are playing it fast and loose with their biosecurity and resulting in allegedly, and then resulting in the mass depopulation of 8 million birds, 8 million lives gone,
Yep.
thrown in the garbage. And those are just, yeah.
Here's a good question. Out of curiosity, would you eat a person if you had their complete consent and they died ethically? No, I would not. How about you?
Why would I eat a person? That's a strange way to get your protein. I
It
don't think that would be. Mm-mm.
also very risky. Kuru is one disease. Like, you get all sorts
True.
of diseases from eating other people. And
Yeah.
you get more diseases from other people than animals for sure, because we share all of the things. Um,
Right. Those little proteins that give you like the mad cow disease and all that. But I think that there's something other than that too. That why wouldn't you eat your grandma, right? When your grandma dies, the first thought in your brain wasn't, I can't wait to eat her. And even in cannibalistic tribes, it's surrounded by ritual. There's all these steps before they actually start eating somebody. And so they separate themselves from the grossness factor, and then they layer it on with religion so that it makes it okay, like we do with a lot of gross stuff that we do. So like, I think the reason why I want to eat grandma is because even in death, I respect her as an individual. And I think that's extremely important for all beings. That's how I feel about animals too. I think they're individuals and I respect them after they're dead. When I see roadkill, my first thought isn't dinner time. That'd be a strange thought, I think.
yeah, that's like a conditioned humorous thing that
Mm,
people do. It's sort of like, how can I make this kind of sad thing of this dead animal into like this humorous macabre joke?
yeah.
So,
Yeah, well,
which
I think that the industry like we're talking about with the depopulation, when we say Hickman's depopulated 8 million birds, even when we talk like that, we are diminishing their individuality, aren't we? And it's very difficult. I think it's extremely difficult to speak about these things and still respect each individual chicken. And I think that the system, that's why that's by design, right? That's why the system works it the way it does. That's why the food system does what it does, is to separate us from noticing that they're individuals and respecting that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to make, I don't know. It's hard for me to get into like that respect argument. I guess I just don't think it resonates with people, but maybe it does. Like people in the chat, does the respect argument, respecting the bodies of your fellow human who died, is that the reason that you don't eat them?
Well, it's
Or
not the
is it,
respect of their body, Crystal. It's the
or
respect of
okay,
their
individuality?
individualness, their personness, right? I
Okay.
That's what I think it is. And I know that we don't make philosophical arguments mostly when you and I meet, but I think it must resonate with most people because they're thinking about it so much. That's why we have all these religions. That's why we have ethics and philosophy
Mhm.
books. And
What do you want done with your body when you die?
I want to be burnt into ash and flushed down a toilet.
Hmm.
I don't think that my body
Interesting.
means anything. I'm just joking. I don't. I think that just throw me in the ocean. I'm fine. Like take me out the mile you have to go and put my ashes in the ocean.
Your ashes. You don't want your body dumped in the ocean to become fish food.
I don't think you're allowed to do that, but sure,
Mm.
I'd be fine with that. If that's I'd be. I don't really care. I guess.
Yeah.
My parents and everybody, all my whole family, we put them in the ocean.
Okay.
And so it's kind of a tradition at this point, but I don't really care at all. Do you care what happens to your body when you die?
I don't, but I think if anybody thinks it would be cool to like take my bones and make them into something, or like my hair, if I still have any hair by the time I die, or like my skin and turn it into something like artistic,
Oh, you're like Ingrid
down.
Newkirk. You want to be
For
like,
like put my skull somewhere cool, like I
oh,
kind of want to make an Ingrid Newkirk style will, and
because
that
she
I
has
think that would be
she
kind of
wants her
cool.
foot to be turned into an umbrella stand. I think she wants.
Yeah.
There's only a few that I remember. I think she wants her eye to be donated to be tested on, like test oven cleaner on her eyeball or something. She's got all these different things that she wants done to her body.
Yeah.
It gets macabre, but I guess I mean,
That's pretty cool. I respect her for that.
I feel like once I'm dead, well, you deal with people who, well, not people, but individuals, animals who die more frequently than I do. Um, there's something that's gone when they're not really there anymore, right? When a person dies or an animal dies, they're not really there anymore. There's just this vessel
Mhm.
that seems to be like a chrysalis that is left behind from the butterfly that flew away. That's what I
Yeah.
like when my mom died, they're like, "Do you want to come hold her hand one last time?"
Ugh. Yeah.
And well, I'll tell you, it's you say that you're the one who has to deal with death all the time.
No.
I don't deal with it as often as you do. And I'm upset. I'm upset because my mom has just died and I know she's dead. And the nurse is saying, "Do you want to go hold her hand one more time?" And I looked at her, I'm like, "Well, what do people do?" I feel like no matter what I do, I'm going to regret my next decision because if I don't do it, I'm going to regret having not done it. And I know that when I go into that room and I see her body and I hold her cold hand, that
Yeah,
I'm going to regret that too.
you gonna
And
remember her like that?
I'm
I
going to
don't
remember
know if
her like
that's
that. And I don't remember her only like that. I think that that's a little bit of a myth, but I do remember
Mhm.
that moment because I said, this is what I said. I said, well, it's better to regret the things you have done in life than to regret the things you haven't
Mhm.
done. And so I did. I went in there and it was striking scene. She was intubated and but then I was like, this isn't her anymore. And I guess that's why I'm telling the story is that like, even though I'm like, her boyfriend is like crying over her body and all this stuff. And I'm like, she's not there anymore. I want to leave this room.
Yeah.
She's not in this room with us. This is not her. Like, she's never going to be in another room with us ever again. She's only going to be the memories that we have. And I'm like,
Well, I don't know. Did you don't believe in any sort of spiritual contacting the dead,
Do you?
communicating with the dead stuff. Yeah, because I've had experiences communicating with the dead. But
I'll tell you, you know what's funny? I believe that ghosts are kind of like our memories playing tricks on us. And then when you think about somebody a lot, you see them all of a sudden. And when my mom died, like every old lady, my mom wasn't that old, but she had white hair. And so every person with white hair, I was like double taking. I was like seeing her all over the place. I'm like, oh, this is what ghosts are. Because if I were just a little more magical minded, everything was a
yeah.
go. You know what I
What do you
mean?
think consciousness is, though?
That's a good question. Well, for FOIA Friday, we're getting deep.
Yeah, I know.
I think, and I'm okay with. I love it. What do I think consciousness is? I think consciousness is an evolutionary response to of it's an evolutionary response to our
It's all
environment.
chemicals
Yeah.
and stuff. Why can you only perceive reality through your body? Why are you there looking out and you are not in my body or another person's body? Why is that you?
Yeah, the kernel of existence. Schopenhauer talks about this. It seems like we must have existed before we were us, right? There must have been this kernel of existence. And whatever we are before we're born, we will just become again after we're dead. And that was our kernel. There was something that makes us us. But I think more likely is that since the Big Bang, this is how it was always going to be. I'm much more like Jean-Paul Sartre, which is like the waves are going, and you can kind of choose how to surf the waves, but you really can't choose where the waves are headed. And so, what makes me me and you? It really is a little bit of happenstance, a little bit of choice, and you can kind of have your cake and eat it too that way. How I
Okay,
ended up
Kamala Harris.
you think that's word salad,
No,
really?
I'm kidding. I'm just giving you a hard time. Sorry.
I don't think it's word salad. I think that you can have it both. You could kind of have it both ways, where there's a lot that's already determined for you. I don't believe in this idea like you can pick up your bootstraps and anybody can be anything. That's clearly not true. Some people are born with no legs, you know. Some people are born with far less obvious hindrances, but all of us have some mixture of predetermined experience and some others, a mixture of that and our own responsibility and our own actions. It doesn't let you off the hook just because a lot of shit's already decided for you, you know?
Why I still don't understand what put you in your body and how come you can only perceive life through well, in theory, have you ever perceived life through another body?
Yeah, I mean, I have imagination, don't you? That isn't that what
Okay.
imagination is? Isn't that
But
what
can
empathy is?
you yeah. Okay.
So
Well,
I
anyway, maybe
disagree with I disagree
get
with the premise that
okay.
I can only understand things that
But you when
happen.
you're looking out your eyes,
Yeah.
you are seeing only your perspective and you cannot look through my eyes.
That's solipsism. That's the idea that I'm just a brain in a vat and everyone else might as well be androids, but that's
No,
clearly
that's not what I'm saying. I'm but anyway, maybe might be a good better discussion for Ethical Underground because this is going to take a
sure.
long time to get through.
I love it because
Um,
I mean, but this week on Ethical Underground, I want to talk about the ethics of
uh,
care because we always talk about utilitarianism versus deontology, and I want to do the ethics of care that
didn't we
everyone
do
always
that
forgets about.
last week? Or
No,
is that different than what we did last week?
yeah, I think so,
Okay.
but
You're gonna have
all
to
right,
explain it to me.
so Hickman's killed 8 million birds, and none of them are individuals because the system makes it so. That's why they don't depict individuals on advertisements for food.
All right. So I also got a bunch of budgets for this whole thing, and which I thought was really interesting. And we can I'm gonna control F some
Control
things
F it.
here. Uh-oh, agriculture is already popped up. So this is interesting. It came up with kind of the CDC's kind of response to the H5N1 outbreak. And they said in March 2024, the U.S. Department of Agriculture reported that dairy cattle in Texas had been infected with highly pathogenic avian influenza, which had never been reported in cattle previously. CDC quickly stood up an emergency response to support states to investigate and implement measures to protect health and safety of people, conducting outbreak investigations in 13 states that had infected dairy cattle herds. I thought this was interesting. Between March and August 2024, more than 1,750 people with exposures to dairy cattle have been monitored for symptoms, and 70 people have been tested for H5N1.
That is kind of interesting.
Because how many?
1,700 have been monitored and 70 something were.
Yeah, only 70 people were tested between March and August 2nd, which isn't enough. And how many people have tested positive overall?
Especially when we're pushing 10% on dairy workers. Like, okay, I know it's 7%, but I'm just going to just round it up. I'm just going to round it to around 10% just to be conservative, but still somewhat alarmist. Around 10% are testing positive for bird flu.
Well,
human beings.
Seropositive, yeah. Of the ones that we tested,
Which means that they're seropositive, means that they have the antibodies for bird flu in their system, right? So that number makes me think that only testing 70 people since March in Maricopa County, where we know the dairy
not in Maricopa County.
Oh,
this is nationwide.
Oh, crap.
This is nationwide. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's far worse than I thought. That's far worse than I thought. That's ridiculous. This is why we got to do FOIAs, because we find out numbers like this. Holy crap. So basically we're asleep. The government's asleep at the wheel. They're not doing anything.
The CDC's robust influenza surveillance system led to state public health laboratories testing over 36,000 specimens between March and August 24th, 2024 for influenza A to look for any H5N1 community cases that may not be detected through direct community level outbreak investigation. So that's
dead cows.
No, this is CDC, so they're testing people, but they're testing them for influenza A.
Okay.
To look for any H5N1 community cases that may not be detected through direct community level outbreak investigations. But did they subtype any of these influenza A's though? That's the thing. So you're not going to find H5N1
That's what I was going to say.
you then
there's no A in H5N1.
No. H5N1 is influenza A.
Okay.
H5N1 is a type of influenza A. So if you, in theory, if somebody tests positive for influenza A, you go, oh, okay, well, they're positive for the most common kind of influenza. Very rarely would you then subtype them unless you have some reason to. And I don't think they're subtyping any of these. So I don't know what the point of testing for influenza A is, unless are they testing just sick people who come to the hospital with cold symptoms?
3,600 specimens. That when you use the word specimen, what comes to mind when you say specimen? You thinking of a
body fluids? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they've collected fluids from a bunch of people, and we don't know if they're sick or healthy, and they found how much? 3,600
There's
people.
so much we don't know in this statement. We don't know if they subtyped the positives. We don't know how many were positive.
But the person who wrote it at least has H5N1 on the mind. It's
to look for any H5N1 community cases. But if you're not subtyping the positives, then
you don't get much of anything.
Are you finding that? CDC quickly updated guidance for workers reaching over 7 million people between May and July 2024 through guidance and communications resources and targeted social media radio outreach to communities with infected herds. In 2024, CDC made significant progress towards improving domestic preparedness to detect and contain clade 1 mpox, blah, blah. This is just good. That's all that there was mentioning of H5N1 there. Let me see if there was any more let me see what other agriculture mentions there were. Agriculture.
Ronnie wants to know what.
Oh, here's what?
I was just gonna tangent just to while you were looking. I was gonna fill the time. Go ahead.
Okay. What was the question though?
What is your favorite DreamWorks movie?
Oh, that sounds like a spam question. I don't know what movies are DreamWorks, so I can't tell you.
By far, my favorite is Wild Robot. I think it's one of the best films I've seen in a while. It's so good. Have you seen Wild Robot?
No, I haven't. I'll watch it though.
It's about wild, and I think it's so good. I saw it on an airplane. I was like, I don't know, I was getting emotional on a plane, and you start looking at the person next to you, and you're like, I'm not crying, you're crying. I'm just joking. I wasn't crying, but still, it's really, really good, and I highly recommend Wild Robot.
Oh, cool.
Sorry.
Okay. Well, antimicrobial resistance initiative budget request. Antimicrobial resistance, when bacteria or fungi do not respond to drugs designed to kill them, is a threat to lives, modern medicine and healthcare, and veterinary and agriculture industries in the United States. Antimicrobial resistant infections are difficult to treat and add considerable burden to patients and the U.S. healthcare system. The CDC works to quickly detect, prevent, contain, and respond to outbreaks of antimicrobial resistant infections, blah, blah, blah. The CDC's budget request is $197 million, which seems like a lot, which is probably needed. In fiscal year 2024, CDC invested more than $68 million to sustain core AR laboratory epidemiological capacity in all states, as well as several large cities and territories. Blah, blah, blah. I thought that was
animal rights. What does AR stand for?
No, AR, antibiotic resistance.
Oh, okay. Got it. That's a problem too. Antibiotic. But wait a second. Antibiotics, they don't fight viruses, right? Antibiotics
No, they do not. Bacteria.
Antibiotic
resistant bacteria is what we're worried about. Antibiotic resistant salmonella, campylobacter.
And what is it when
E. coli.
the antiviral resistant viruses? Is that what we're afraid of?
I guess that would be a thing. Most antivirals really don't. Well, I guess I should.
Tamiflu. We had some.
They're not. I never think of antivirals as being like as good as antibiotics. Antibiotics are so when they work, they're really good. Antivirals, it's like, I don't know, not as good as antibiotics.
No. I mean, antibiotics are famous. Antivirals, just Tamiflu. That's all I know about antivirals. Right? There's not that many different ones. Okay.
Anyway, then I'm just control effing mentions of H5N1 in this. It's CDC's fiscal year 2026 budget request of $963 million for immunization and respiratory diseases is $44 million above the fiscal year 2025 level. So they're asking for more money there. Biothreats like H5N1, polio, and Middle East respiratory syndrome, MERS. Blah, blah, blah.
MERS is a killer. Oh my God, man.
All the H5N1 stuff here.
MERS came from camels, right? That's what people got from camels. I feel like maybe we should just stop using animals, but no one ever listens to me. So we're just going to keep giving money to these companies these corporate-owned who own animals. Corporations that own animals continue to get money so that they can continue to give us diseases.
Yeah. CDC supports staff in U.S. localities and the Indian Health Service who assist daily operations and outbreak responses. In fiscal year 2024, 20 jurisdictions requested additional funds to purchase vaccines to respond to active outbreaks, including hepatitis A, varicella, measles. 10 of those jurisdictions requested funding to support efforts to vaccinate farm workers against seasonal flu in the context of H5N1 outbreak. So I thought that was interesting.
If you were vaccinated for seasonal flu, it wouldn't help, would it? I mean, that's an interesting. Is there some spillover? Like if I get a vaccine for the seasonal flu, whatever, because every year it's a different flu-ish. It's a little different, right? So I get that one, the one they tell me to get, and then which I never do, by the way. Do you get it? You get it, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Okay. I never get it. Not since college. I never got. Well, that's not true. A couple jobs where they bring the person to and you don't have an excuse anymore. They're like, oh yeah, get the flu shot. I'm like, yeah, right. It's convenient. I'll do it. But okay. So if I get that, is there any?
It might. It's possible the body might react, because there's been studies showing that if you've been infected with like H1N1, then
Yeah.
you've got some protection to
Swine flu, right?
H5N1. So who
Oh,
knows? Possibly, but the main thing we're worried about is if a worker was infected with the seasonal flu virus, then got infected with H5N1, and then you have one cell that's infected with both viruses, then the
that's where you
viruses
get.
swap RNA strains, and then you create a new virus that is more easily spread from person to person. And that's what we're trying to prevent. So
All right. So, other question. This is okay. Just if I get vaccinated, that means that some of the RNA from the virus of the bird, not bird flu, but of seasonal flu, I have it. I do have the flu, right? I have the antibodies, but I also have the virus, don't I? And so if I get vaccinated and then like 2 days, what is it? A couple days in, I get the bird flu, then I got both.
the seasonal flu vaccine is not like a virus that's going to be able to replicate. Let's see, like, what kind of vaccines are seasonal flu vaccines? Modified
Ghost Samurai says
live or
I haven't had a cold or sore throat since 2020. Maybe it was the vaccine. Maybe the COVID vaccine kept you.
seasonal flu vaccines are available in two forms: inactivated, killed, and live, attenuated, or weakened vaccines.
Okay, but
So
listen.
if they're
Okay.
like, if they're inactivated or killed, they're just like segments of the virus that the body would recognize. That they're not, it's not like if a cell is infected with the two, that they would be able
Right.
to swap genes and
Yeah,
create
it's like the
a whole
proteins.
new.
Okay,
Yeah.
but the proteins present in a vaccine are what my body builds resistance to. Just like a bee, like a people who are allergic to bees, their body has experienced that protein and they don't like it to a crazy degree for no one really knows why, and they develop this crazy allergy in response when they get stung again. So we have a similar thing, right? We get pricked by a vaccine and we have that protein, our body starts learning how to deal with it, and then if we encounter it in the wild, our body's prepared. Okay, but and I know COVID is not a flu, it's coronavirus, which is different. But when I got that stupid JJ shot, man, it took me down. I thought I was going to go to work that day. I got to work and I was like, no way I'm going home. I have to go home. I feel like crap. I was down. I went home. I went straight to bed. I was sick. So if I had gotten sick, let's say it was flu, I'm sick, and then I catch bird flu at the same time. Can't I get two flus at once? And now I'm the creator of the superbug.
Why are you suddenly, because you got vaccinated for COVID, you're getting two flus at once? I don't
Not
understand.
COVID. If it's like if I get the seasonal flu, and I get a lot of people do. They get the seasonal flu shot and they get a little sick, kind of like I did with COVID. That I didn't
Yeah.
get COVID. I got sick because of the vaccine, just for a day, just for 24 hours. Clearly something's going on. I'm not feeling great. I don't know if I've got I don't know what that feeling is, but I feel like it's just a mild case of COVID or something I got, right? Even though I never got COVID. I don't know what that feels like. If I got that flu shot, like a lot of people do, and they get sick, and then I go home and I get bird flu as well, aren't I now that petri dish that you're talking about? Like the workers who, if they catch the seasonal flu and they get bird flu, they are now the ones that have created the pandemic.
So when you get a vaccine and you feel sick from a vaccine, that's because your immune system detects the vaccine and is releasing cytokines, and it's causing inflammation, and that's what leads to all of those symptoms of sickness, but doesn't mean you have the virus and it can't
Oh, it's not
reassort.
just because my body is making me have a runny nose and stuff
Yeah.
because it's doing the thing. Okay.
And
All
sometimes
right.
there's like allergic reactions to like the adjuvant or whatever. is in the
Right.
vaccine, and that causes, the hives and swelling, the trouble breathing and all of this. So it's
So
just a short-lived immune response. You're not sick with the virus.
okay, I just was trying to get to the bottom of whether or not there's a danger of creating a super virus by getting the flu vaccine and then catching bird flu.
No, reassortment can only happen when you have like 2 live replicating influenza
Okay.
viruses, not between a flu vaccine and a live virus.
So this is an
So,
argument for the flu vaccine then.
yes.
Okay. So go out and get the flu vaccine if
Get
you're working with cows and birds.
Yeah, I think everybody personally should get a flu vaccine, but, you know, that's if you have bad reactions to vaccines, obviously don't. But if you're an animal rights activist and you want to end experimentation on animals, we have to normalize human beings being willing to put their body on the line and trying these new medical advancements. And if you get the vaccine, and you do get sick, talk about it and be like, "Hey, I don't know, but this is I was sick," like, and everybody who does get sick from vaccines should be talking about it. I personally get the vaccine all the time, never gotten sick. I'm relatively healthy. I have no long COVID. I've gotten a ton of COVID shots. I have gotten COVID to, when my vaccine lapsed, and I don't think I have long COVID symptoms or anything like that. I think I'm relatively healthy. So,
So did you actually
um
get you got the vid though? You got the Rona? You actually had
yeah,
it?
I think I did once. I tested positive, but it was like after I didn't get a COVID vaccine for like a year and a half or
Oh, so
something,
you had gotten vaccinated
but
and
it'd been a
then you got
while.
it. And you didn't
Yeah.
get too sick?
No, it was like a couple days of being sick, and
Not like the
that's it.
2 weeks, man. Oh my god, when people got it early on, it was
Yeah,
so
and
bad.
maybe because was vaccinated, that's why it didn't hurt me that bad. Of course, Joe Rogan, famously got it, and he said it was not a big deal, and, um, took his things and
I
seemed to
mean,
work out well for
I
him, so
I might be asymptomatic for all I know. So her vaccine didn't work. So your vaccine didn't work?
no, no, it seemed to work just fine, but it had been a while, and, vaccines, you need boosters, and there's probably a different strain of Rona going around too that the vaccine wasn't 100% effective for. So,
Yeah,
I
and
think
isn't the vaccine not so that you'll still get it, you just have milder symptoms, right? You'll still get
yeah,
hit. Your body
yeah,
just is prepared for it. Like,
yeah,
I think you're still alive, so I think it did okay, and you didn't and you only sick for 2 days versus 2 weeks. Man, when I worked in the restaurant industry and at that time, and, I managed at that point something like 200 people, and a lot of them caught it right away. A lot of them they were getting sick, and you didn't really know what they had, and then we shut all the restaurants, and then you started getting reports about hospitalizations and stuff, and, oh my god, the stories, and they were sick for weeks, months, some of them. So I think if you got COVID and you only had a couple days of sickness, I think you made it out. I think you did okay.
yeah. Let me just go through this, document here. I'm just looking for more mentions of H5N1 to see what they talk about here. Um,
Ghost Samurai says, "I'll
kind of
pass
this
on anything approved by the government." I kind of feel the same way, Ghost Samurai. I'm more reluctant than Crystal is. I think that take on animal rights activists doing it to normalize putting our bodies on the line. That you almost had me on that one. That
Mhm.
kind of hit, but
It reminds me of, the hot zone
yeah.
when there was this outbreak of Ebola in the Reston, Virginia laboratory, of
Mhm.
monkeys. 450 monkeys got infected with Ebola, and they had to go in and kill all the monkeys. They're like, "We need to call in the army because we need to call in people who are willing to die for their country to deal with
Yeah.
this."
That sounds like
And
Chernobyl. That's what people had to do for Chernobyl. They had to go in and they're just gonna have to die.
exactly.
Yeah.
But there's some truth in that. Like, at some point, we want to be willing to die for a good cause, and I don't think right now a lot of us trust our government.
I don't trust the government.
So you
I feel
know?
like skepticism is very important in life,
Oh,
especially when
absolutely,
it
and
comes to the
especially
government.
in medicine too,
Yeah.
given how, um, there's such a culture of obeying hierarchies and
Yes.
normalizing things, and there's
Yes.
certain perspectives are not allowed. You there because of the inherent problems with the culture of medicine, you should be very distrustful of it.
Yeah.
And you should do your research and decide for yourself. And I don't know how normal people do that
Especially,
who
Crystal,
haven't gone through medical school, like, or veterinary school,
well, you watch
know how
podcasts,
to
you try to figure
parse.
stuff.
Well, but who do you trust on podcasts?
That's the
Like,
thing. You have to find people that you trust. But I mean, the people, especially people who don't have my privilege. I was born white, hetero male, and I like a lot of these tests and a lot of medical knowledge was based on people like me. If I were a woman or a person of color, I'd be even more
yeah.
skeptical. Like I'm skeptical because I just have that bone in me, I guess. But so I'm just reluctant to just
But
go
also,
sign me
I'm
up
the
for
one
everything.
who I need to touch the hot wire to see if it's hot, you know?
Uh,
I'm not gonna believe what people say unless I'm slapped in the face with it. And obviously, from my past experience with various animal rights groups, like that's what I heard all the naysayers, and then it took
mm,
me. I
you
have to
still
like
had to.
get in there, figure out for myself, touch the fire, touch the plate to see if it's hot, and that's yeah, go to veterinary school and like figure out what's going on here. Let's test the discourse, and that's who I am. I will like how what can you not talk about here that'll get you ostracized? Oh,
Let's
let me
do
talk
that.
about that thing and see if it's true. Oh yeah, it is true. You can't talk about those things. You will get
Yeah, you're
ostracized.
ostracized. Yeah,
Yeah.
your Ebola baboons were really we're going to
Hmm.
talk a lot more about those Ebola baboons on Monday on Vegan World Radio out of Houston. If anybody would like to, we stream that at kpft.org at 7 p.m. Pacific in Houston. It's no, sorry, it's 5 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Houston time, Central time. Crystal and I go to Houston every week and on Mondays, and at 7 p.m. Central time, we will be live at kpft.org streaming or 90.1 FM, and we'll be talking about monkey business this Monday. We're talking about monkeys. It'll be fun.
Okay. Since you got me sidetracked, I do have to bring up this last document.
Let's do
This is a dear Chair Collins, chair on this committee of appropriations, letter from Russell T. Vogt. And this is the president's budget.
Yeah,
And I
the
love how
Russell
it's
vote.
laid out here. You can see how much money they want to add, and how
Break it
much
down
they
for me.
want
I can
to
I can see what you're
subtract.
pointing at, but I can't tell. I can't read it from where I'm at. What do
So
we
you've
have
got
here?
the America First Opportunity Fund plus 2,900, and this is percent, or this is dollar change from 2025 enacted in millions. So this is $2.9 billion. This budget includes $2.9 billion for a new America First Opportunity Fund. This fund will focus on strategic
Uh,
investments to make America safer, stronger, and more prosperous. Support
okay.
some of America's most enduring critical partners, such as India and Jordan. Support activities for keeping America safe, such as repatriation,
Repatriations.
counter China and other near peer rivals, and fund new activities to strengthen Americans' national
What's the
security.
date on this
Um,
document? So this is the
the date,
document for everyone just tuned in, wants to know what the stream is about. This is FOIA Friday. We exercise our right for freedom of information, and then we talk about what we got to uncover what's going on in the government. May 2nd, 2025. That is crazy that he's talking like that about India in May 2nd. Like we just he just released the tariffs on what is the tariff on India? It's high. It's like 35% or something like that.
yeah.
So, but here he's saying they want to increase trade with India.
Um,
25%
support some of America's
tariff.
most enduring critical partners, such as India and Jordan. I don't know what the plan is with the America First Opportunity Fund. Maybe we need to FOIA some of that, although that's not really related to our strategic plan. So maybe that will have to be done on the side. But like I just think it's really interesting to just see there's so much. So this document is huge.
Yeah.
But you can see all of these programs and how much is added and subtracted from these various programs.
So,
And this is just really fun to look at.
but tell me
And
the
let me
agriculture angle on this.
let's so we are revoking clean and drinking water state revolving loan funds. We are increasing expenditures on the food safety and inspection service and rental assistant grants. That's great. And we are decreasing funding of the National Institute of Food and Agriculture. This budget protects funding to youth and K through 12 programs such as 4-H, tribal colleges, and university. This investment would help prepare future generations of farmers, and it includes future historically Black colleges. Insurers are amply funded, so that decreases money from that. It decreases funding for the Agriculture Research Service, which we've already seen. Decreases funding for NRCS. Blah, blah, blah. And I don't know how much of this is the big, beautiful bill. This is just like laid out the big, beautiful bill stuff.
But Big Beautiful Bill wasn't. Why would Russell Vogt be writing this document to? This is America First thing. This isn't Big Beautiful Bill. It would have referenced it. And May 2nd, the Big
Maybe
Beautiful
this is for
Bill. No, it can't be
next.
Big Beautiful Bill. Big Beautiful Bill passed on July 4th. He signed it on July 4th. This is May 2nd. And so this is kind of interesting. Like he's putting out this, how he wants to cut all these agricultural services. Man, what they're doing is weird. All this stuff they're doing with agriculture is so weird. Because like, how do you, first of all, arrest or revoke the people? Like, no matter what, how you handle it, right? They're arresting their workers, they're deporting their workers, or they're revoking the visas of their workers. They're losing up to 50%. Some of these agricultural or operations, up to 50% of their workforce. You can't operate that way. And if you try to operate that way, you're gonna make mistakes. And then you're gonna cut all the stuff that makes your business safe, all the stuff that keeps you from having diseases and keeps you from poisoning the water and everything. So what's the game here? Like, I maybe there is none. Maybe it's just ineptitude. But to me, I think corruption first before I think incompetence. Don't you? So, especially someone from Russell Vogt.
I don't know enough about it, but I have all of these thousands of documents, and you all can look at them yourself too. And this is another 1,200 page budget document from the White House too, that you can peruse and Control F all of the various things to see what they're talking about. Let me just Control F. Let's see if we can find any agriculture things with this. Here's 7 matches. Not that much about agriculture.
Someone said we don't produce enough meat animals here. What do you mean? Where's here? America produces far more than we can consume. So I don't know what you mean by that.
So let me just put in the chat our FOIA rabbit hole page.
Mm-hmm. If you're interested in trying to hunt for corruption or information through our FOIA requests, then please look at what Crystal's putting in the chat right now. If you'd like to join our FOIA signal chat and you want to join the FOIA community, please email at info@ourhonor.org, and we'd love to help and get you to put out those FOIAs and start asking the government for the information that you require. FOIA has uncovered all sorts of secrets and so many important things throughout the last 30 years that it's been available. 30 years, something like that. I think it's only been around for 30 years. So exercise the FOIA, your Freedom of Information Act, as an American, you have this opportunity and you should use it. Holding power accountable.
So this week, I FOIA'd our friends at the Pork Board any communications referencing 12007, H5N1, S1326, HR 4673, Prop 12, Proposition 12, EATS Act, Food Security and Farm Protection Act. So hopefully I'll get something back soon about that. I also requested what Andrew had requested last time about a chart with all of the ELAP payments made to dairy producers dated between January 1st and present, including the locations, names, and reason for the ELAP payment. I should have asked for that in Excel document form, but my bad. I also requested a copy of a chart with incidence of avian influenza and depopulation methods, controlling the disease from March 14, 2025 to present. And there I did have the mindfulness of asking them if they could send that in a Excel file. I tried to submit these through the USDA portal today, and I got an error message. So I found the email addresses for all of these different to email these different FOIA agencies, and I put those there.
And if any of you are writing FOIAs and you'd like to get that email, so just let us know and we'll help you out. We're always here to help if you'd like to exercise your rights. Yeah. Crystal, I think this was a good FOIA Friday. Thank you so much. And I'll see you on, hopefully, are you coming on Sunday for Ethical Underground or nah?
Give me like a schedule of like what you're talking about when, and I'll depending on what I'm feeling. I have to figure out what I'm talking about. I have to plan for the for the Vegan World Radio show, and I've got a ton of monkey stuff that's pretty in depth that I want to like lay out. So it's going to take some time. And right after Vegan World Radio, I have to give a presentation to the University of Queensland. Because at 7 p.m. our time, it's noon the next day there. And so I have to also polish that presentation that I'm giving to them. So I've got a lot of stuff to work on, and I'm supposed to get a book chapter that I'm writing in by Wednesday morning.
Who are you? Do you have a book coach?
Yeah, well, I don't want to say who I'm working with, but yeah, like I don't know if she's my book coach, but I think she is. But you know who it is.
I do. Oh, it's the same. It's not the same book coach as me.
No, it's not the same.
I know her though. Okay, got it. Yeah, sorry. Okay, cool. That's awesome. You're gonna turn in I'm really excited to read your book. I did the same thing. I was writing my book with my book coach, who's not the same person as your book coach. No. And I found it very rewarding, actually. I had my meeting on Tuesday. I've only written about 50 pages, but that's a pretty good start, I think. And
so do you have, we're working on my book proposal and everything. And I now have all of my chapter summaries. I have my 1-pager. I have an afterword. Do you have your chapter summaries yet? Or are you like you just writing?
I'm mostly just writing. I don't have I do have some summaries, but they look more like just bullet points of things like different of the chapters. So I've never really organized I've organized essays the way that you're talking about, but you're writing more like a scholarly work than I am. I'm writing a memoir style, like almost like a historical fiction almost. And you're writing something far more academic than what I'm doing. But I know what you're going through. That's like a very hard process. When I did my senior thesis, when at Berkeley, when they don't have magna cum laude and stuff, they have this thing called honors and highest honors. And highest honors, you have to do a 2-semester book project, and I did it in 2 majors. So I wrote 2 books that year, and they're academic information. So you'd have to submit your chapter summaries and stuff like that. It was yours is probably going to be a little more difficult to write with all that planning. But once you have all that done, you'll fly through it, I think, don't you?
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't. It's. I might change some of my chapters. I've got 17 chapters, so 17 chapter summaries that I wrote, and so that's all like done.
It's
And I
great.
would call it an academic article. I love the way Hot Zone was, and it was a nonfiction thriller.
Like a narrative. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
um, so I
I
love that, and I kind of want to try to do that, like combination of the Hot Zone and the Occasional Human Sacrifice by Carl Elliott, which
yeah.
also is very similar.
That sounds wonderful. I mean, I just know because the stuff that I've read that you've written is a little bit more academic, but you're clearly a really good writer. And I can't wait to read if that's the angle you're going. I can't friggin' wait. I'd love to. I can't wait to read your pages. I hope I get an early look, an early peek. But I'm excited. I'm excited for
Yeah,
the fact that
I'm
both of us
excited
are
for
doing
yours
this.
too. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see who gets it first, and we'll see who tops who in the New York
Are we
Times bestseller
racing? Don't
list.
don't make me
Yeah,
race.
I don't know. I think mine's a little bit going to be longer than yours. I think mine might take more time. I don't know, though. Who
I'm thinking
knows?
mine's gonna be like 300 pages though,
Yeah,
and mine's at 50 pages right now. So
you're farther along than I am. That's for sure.
yeah, but I started like when World Shapers asked me about it, and only because I was standing next to you, I was like, oh yeah, I've already working on something that would fit exactly in with that mission. It's like I was already working on something, and I had put it down. I'd stopped working on it because I was on the road with PETA, then I was working with you, so I just didn't
Mhm.
have like I didn't sit down at a computer, and I still am not like I haven't set up my schedule to like sit down and do it yet either. So like I think I only wrote a few pages last week, and I need to like
Yeah.
sit down and write 1,000 words a day. That's how I have to do it. But anyway, I can't wait
Yeah.
to find out more about. I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm really excited about that. And I'm if you don't want to go on Sundays, no problem. But I'll see you on Monday for Vegan World Radio, where we will be live at kpft.org. And thank you everyone for joining the chat right now. And thank you for
Yeah.
everyone who contributed there. And thank you for liking and subscribing to Crystal's channel and Our Honor. I appreciate you so much. And we'll see you on the other side.
All
Right?
right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Friday.
Oops.
Friday.
Freedom of information. This actually looks way better vertical.
Freedom of information.
All right, see you next Friday, everybody.
Friday.